Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we unpack complex topics and really dig into the details. Today, we're looking at what it actually means to move into one of those meticulously planned communities. We're going deep into the Tideline homeowner orientation materials.
Yeah,
And this isn't just, reading a welcome pamphlet. It's about understanding the whole system, the ecosystem, really, of a developer community.
right.
How decisions get made, what you're actually responsible for. It's kind of a shortcut to getting smart about it from day one.
Absolutely. And this source, it gives us a really fascinating look at the structure, the expectations within an HOA.
Yeah.
Right from the ground up. We see the practical day-to-day stuff, but also the bigger picture, the governance. So
The goal here is
our
on
mission
both.
really is to make sure you know exactly what you might be getting into and, crucially, why all these little details matter, whether you're actually moving into Tideline or you're just, curious about how these places tick.
Okay, so let's start with that welcome. Tideline neighborhood is presented, as you'd expect, very nicely. Lifestyle, comfort, and connection. Sounds great. But what's the real promise underneath all that?
Well, the materials, they're pretty clear. There's a dedicated team, the property manager, the Casa Group staff, and they work with the board. And their stated goal is to preserve and enhance the value of your investment while fostering a thriving community.
Okay, so a dual focus then, your money and your happiness, basically.
Exactly. Financial protection and community well-being. It's not just about the houses looking good.
And right away, if something comes up, who do you even call? Is there like one number?
Yeah, they make that clear. The property manager is John Randall,
Can you say-
specific email, phone number, and importantly, there's a Castle After Hours emergency line too. That number is 1-800-337-5850.
Okay, good to have.
Those are your key first points of contact. Really essential.
All right, so picture this. You've just closed on your brand new home in Tideline. Exciting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens then with getting your official account set up? How does the HOA even know you exist? It doesn't sound like it's automatic.
No, and this is where the timeline can really catch people by surprise.
Yeah.
So the title company, they send your closing documents over to Castle's Warranty Deeds Department.
Okay.
But that step alone, it can take up to 30 days.
A month just for them to process the paperwork.
Yeah. And only then is your homeowner account actually created, and you get assigned your unique account number.
And then you wait for a welcome letter and paper coupons
Yeah.
in the mail, which takes another, 2 weeks?
Right?
So you could be looking at potentially 6, maybe 7 weeks before you can even log into the community website, the portal, TownSq.
Yeah, it's quite a delay.
That seems frustrating, especially if you're keen to get set up, pay dues, whatever. Can you do anything to speed that up? Or are you just stuck waiting?
Well, this is a really important point about being proactive. The document actually says explicitly
Yeah.
that homeowners can speed this up. By giving the management office your warranty deed and your closing statement directly, right from your closing, don't wait for the title company.
Ah, okay, so you can bypass part of that wait.
Exactly. That's a key nugget for anyone wanting to get plugged in faster. And also, don't forget to submit that resident communication form early on. Make sure they have all your contact info right from the start.
Okay, good tip. So once you're officially in the system, let's talk structure. Buying property in Tideline means mandatory HOA membership.
Correct.
Most people have heard of HOAs, but legally speaking, what are you actually signing up for with that membership? What are the core agreements?
Fundamentally, the HOA is made up of all the homeowners and landowners, and they're represented by a board of directors. Membership isn't optional. It comes with the property deed. And with that comes the agreement to follow all the rules, the restrictive covenants.
Which are?
That's the declaration, the articles of incorporation, the bylaws, the rules and regs, the whole legal framework. And, critically, the agreement to pay your assessments. That's the legal bedrock of the whole thing.
And then there's the board of directors. Sounds like that's where the real power sits, initially at least.
That's exactly right. At the start, the board is appointed entirely by the developer.
Not elected by homeowners yet.
Not yet. So at Tideline currently, it's a 3-person developer board. And they make all the major decisions. The management company, they basically relay information, homeowner questions, complaints, violations to the board for them to decide.
Okay, so this brings up a really interesting distinction the source highlights. The developer board versus a homeowner board. What does that feel like for a resident? What's the practical difference when the developer is still running the show?
Yeah, this is where it gets really, really insightful. Under a developer board, which Tideline has now, the developer still owns most of the lots, the shares. So their main focus, it's the look of the community.
Yep.
and selling the remaining homes.
Right. It's still a sales environment in a way.
Exactly. You're kind of living in uh, their ongoing project, their showroom, which often means rules, especially the architectural rules, the ARC decisions, they get enforced very strictly.
Because appearance is paramount for sales.
Precisely. Every detail matters for attracting those new buyers. Another big difference. You probably won't have monthly or quarterly board meetings. Usually just one annual meeting for the budget, typically in November.
So less visibility into the day-to-day running.
Generally, yes. Now, the developer board still has a fiduciary duty, a responsibility to manage the finances properly. But if costs overrun the budget, the association could still face loans or special assessments. It's not a blank check for the developer.
Okay. So it sounds like maybe less direct input for residents under that developer board. What happens during the shift then? To a homeowner board? That sounds like a pretty major power transfer.
Oh, it's huge. It's a significant shift in control and often in priorities, too. The turnover process, that usually starts when about 90-95% of the homes are sold or conveyed.
And then homeowners get elected.
Yes. Homeowners elect fellow residents to the board, and that board typically starts holding regular monthly meetings. They form crucial committees like the Architectural Review Committee, a fining committee.
So more resident control, more direct involvement.
Definitely. They could even start building up community reserves for future projects. It's really when the residents take the steering wheel for their community's future. The focus often shifts more towards, long-term resident life, maybe enhancing amenities.
And for Tideline specifically, who is the developer running that initial board?
That's Neal Communities. They bought the land, put in the infrastructure, built the common areas, set up the HOA, wrote all those governing documents we mentioned.
Got it. And the management company, Castle Group, just to be crystal clear on their role in this hierarchy, they aren't making the big calls.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
It's crucial to understand they take direction from the board of directors. They do not make major policy decisions for the community.
Their job is
Assisting the board with the day-to-day management, handling operations, providing customer service to residents. Homeowners are told, contact them first with questions or concerns, and they'll escalate to the board if needed.
Okay, that clarifies the roles. Now, once you understand who's in charge, the next big question is always about the money, finances.
How does the community budget actually work? What keeps the lights on, the grass cut, and what's this term build-out budget mean?
Right, so the budget is planned assuming build-out, meaning full occupancy. All 29 homes are assumed to be built and paying dues.
Even if they're not all sold yet.
Exactly. And the idea behind that approach is to keep the assessments, the dues, stable from the beginning. It avoids that big jump, that sticker shock that can happen after turnover when suddenly the developer stops subsidizing things.
Okay. So early residents are sort of prepaying for the full community scale. In a way, yes. They're contributing to the operational costs based on the final size, which helps smooth things out long term. The budget gets reviewed every year, of course, and some things like utilities might get adjusted based on actual usage.
And when are those assessments actually due? Don't want to miss a payment.
They're collected quarterly, due January 1st, April 1st, July 1st, and October 1st.
And late fees kick in when?
They're considered late if not paid by the 15th of those months. And yeah, there's a $25 late fee plus a $20 admin fee. Adds up.
Okay, so what are the recommended ways to pay? What works best?
They definitely have a preference. Automatic withdrawal or auto pay is what they push for.
Why is that?
Because the payments are automatically pulled on a date the homeowner picks, and crucially, the amount adjusts automatically if the dues ever change. So it's kind of set and forget, very convenient.
What about other options? Paying online?
You can do one-time online payments, but watch out for fees. $3.95 for using bank account, or a hefty 3.5% if you use a credit card.
Ouch, that credit card fee is steep.
Yeah, that can add up quick. You can also use bill payer through your own bank or mail a check. But for both of those, you absolutely need to put your Castle account number in the memo line. And you need to schedule them way in advance. They recommend 15 business days to make sure they arrive and get processed on time.
So auto pay sounds like the path of least resistance.
It seems designed that way.
Yeah.
And new owners, they'll get those paper coupons in the mail about 45 days after closing to get started, bridging that gap we talked about earlier.
Okay. Once your account is finally set up, where do you go for information? Is there like a community website or something?
Yes, the community portal. It's called TownSq. That's key.
How do you get access?
Once your main Castle account is live, You should get an email within about 48 hours from norreply@townsq.io. That email gives you the link to set up your TownSq account. And they really recommend using that portal to contact management with questions or concerns. It's meant to be the central hub.
Makes sense. Okay, let's shift to daily life stuff. Access and parking. Often big sources of friction in planned communities. Are the rules tight in Tideline?
Oh yeah, very strict on parking. Absolutely no overnight street parking anywhere.
And they enforce that.
They state clearly. Random towing enforcement. So you take your chances if you leave a car out.
Gates too.
Yep, gates are closed every night from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. There's a resident lane on the right, guest lane with a kiosk on the left. They use a system called Virtual Guards V-Gates.
Do residents get clickers or something?
You get 2 complimentary transponders, those little sticker things for your car, and 2 key fobs. If you need more, you can buy them for $25 each.
Okay. And what about visitors getting in when the gates are closed? How does that work? Is it just a code?
No, it's more involved. Visitors pull up to the kiosk and are greeted by a live agent, like a remote security guard.
Okay.
If the guest is already pre-authorized by the resident, the agent lets them right in.
And if they're not pre-authorized? Like an unexpected pizza delivery.
Then Virtual Guard tries to contact the resident directly for authorization. If they can't reach you or you don't answer, access denied.
Wow. So you really need to pre-authorize guests.
Absolutely. It highlights how important that is for making sure your visitors can actually get in smoothly.
Yep.
Avoids that awkward gate situation.
Definitely. Okay, now let's talk about your own property, your lot. What are the homeowner's responsibilities, especially with landscaping? That seems crucial for the community look.
Yes, it is. The governing documents, those main rule books, they state pretty clearly that each lot owner is responsible for maintaining, repairing, and replacing everything on their lot.
So the house itself, obviously, but also...
Also landscaping, improvements, even the sidewalk next to your lot.
Interesting, the sidewalk too. What about new plants? Is there a warranty?
There's a 30-day grow-in period for plants installed by the builder. After that 30 days, it's on the homeowner. And after that period, you're also responsible for adjusting your irrigation schedule to match the regular association schedule. You need to coordinate that.
Okay, so let's say one of those trees the builder planted along the street in front of my house dies after a year. Can I replace it with, I don't know, a palm tree instead? Something different?
Nope. There's a specific rule about that. Street trees cannot be replaced with a different type. You have to replace it with the exact same type that was originally installed.
Wow, okay. Uniformity is key.
Very much so. And same goes for other plants or grass that die after that initial 30-day landscape warranty from closing homeowner's responsibility to replace. If it's within the 30 days, then you contact your Neil warranty rep.
This all points towards that need for maintaining the aesthetic, which brings us right back to the Architectural Review Committee, the ARC. Sounds like they're the ultimate gatekeeper for that look.
They absolutely are. Before turnover happens, the developer's the ARC. They hold all that power.
Okay.
After turnover, the elected homeowner board appoints at least 3 members to an ARC.
And what do they review? Just paint colors?
Oh, much more than that. They review things based on the community's aesthetic standards, not structural safety. That's important. And they can set and change standards for almost anything visible from the outside.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Design, size of things, fences, walls, pools, what materials you use on the outside, paint colors, lighting fixtures, landscaping choices, where things are placed on your lot, design criteria, even the materials for your roof, your driveway, your walkways.
So basically everything you can see from the street.
Pretty much. It's expensive. Buying into this kind of community means buying into that shared aesthetic vision enforced by the ARC. For some people, that provides comfort and protects value. For others, it feels like giving up a lot of personal freedom.
Right. So if I want to make any change to the outside, or even, you mentioned, lease my home, what's the actual process? You definitely can't just wing it, right? Even if my neighbor has the same fence I want.
No, definitely not. ARC approval is mandatory for any visible exterior change. Landscaping changes, putting up a fence, wall, pool, patio, and yes, even just leasing out your home requires ARC approval.
And what do you need to submit? Is it complicated?
It sounds pretty thorough. You need a written ARC application form, complete plans and specs for what you want to do, your contractor's info, a site plan showing exactly where the change will be, material specifications, landscaping details if relevant, and sometimes they might even require a security deposit.
Wow. And that warning you mentioned earlier about not copying neighbors.
Yeah, the source explicitly warns, and I'm quoting here, Do not assume that a change to the exterior of a home is an acceptable change because another home in the community has a similar modification.
That's huge. So every single project needs its own green light.
Exactly. Each modification gets reviewed on its own merits against the current standards. What was approved last year might not be approved today, or your neighbor might have gotten approval for something specific to their lot that doesn't apply to yours.
And how long does that approval take?
Be prepared to wait. The document says processing can take up to 30 days for modifications and 15 days just to get approval to lease your home. Plan ahead.
Wow. Okay, we have really covered a ton of ground here. From just getting your account set up, which takes longer than you'd think, to paying dues, the rules for parking, how visitors get in, who fixes the landscaping, what kind of tree you have to plant, all the way to the nitty-gritty of getting permission for pretty much any exterior change or even renting out your place. It is crystal clear that moving into a community like Tideline is about more than just buying a house.
It really is. You're signing up for a whole package deal, a comprehensive set of guidelines designed in theory to protect everyone's investment and enhance the living experience. And this deep dive, I think it really shows that being a homeowner in one of these developer communities means you're part of a much larger, very structured environment. There are specific rules, responsibilities, and these distinct decision-making bodies like the board and the ARC. Understanding all these pieces isn't just about avoiding fines or violations. It's about knowing how to participate, how to navigate the system, and how you contribute, willingly or not, to maintaining the community's value and its specific character.
It really highlights that trade-off, doesn't it?
It does. You get the potential for consistency, for protected property values, maybe some nice amenities, but you absolutely agree to live within a shared aesthetic framework and a structured set of rules.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, our listener? Whether you're looking at a place like Tideline, already live in one, or are just kind of fascinated by how these things work. What are those surprising aspects of community living that maybe you don't really grasp until you're actually in it? And thinking back to that developer board phase, how much does that initial period when it's essentially still a sales operation, how much does that set the tone, the culture, the financial footing for the entire future of that community long after the developer is gone? Something to think about.